Wow, that's about the most NES title screen I've ever seen. Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome to the Megaman commentary. Now, you might be thinking, if you followed on from the Sonic Adventure 2 commentary, wasn't I going to be covering the Futurama video game? And in truth, I was, up until my copy of the game ended up, well, just sort of glitched out and stopped functioning. Yeah, about halfway through the game, it pretty much screwed itself over and just wouldn't really continue, which kind of left me without a pot to piss in, for lack of a better phrase. So, with the desire to find something else to record, I thought, what's the easiest commentary thing that everybody from, like, fucking 2007 recorded back in ye olden days of commentary goodness? The Megaman! So, here we are. So, what is the story of the Megaman? Well, we covered Mega Man Zero, so obviously after Zero sacrificed himself... No, that's not the story at all, but anyway, I will get into the history of Mega Man, because fuck it, why not? Everybody has to do this sort of thing. It's pretty much law that you cover at least one classic NES Mega Man title at least. Most do Mega Man 2, so why not start with the one? So anyway, who is this Megaman? Well, basically, you take Astro Boy, a classic anime character, you tell him to put on some fucking pants, and there you go. Mega Man. Exact same, very similar backstory, similar aesthetics, and of course, well, basically Capcom making the biggest fucking financial... biggest fucking financial claims ever out of original The Character Do Not Steal. I know that claim usually gets dictated towards the Sonic series, but by god... At the very least, when Mega Man started, it was very much, dear god, dear god, Osamu Tezuka's family, please do not take our meager money. We are merely capsule computers, we have very little to our name. I am being facetious, obviously. Obviously, the Mighty Atom, aka Astro Boy, was a point of inspiration for Mega Man himself, but it's not entirely one for one. I mean, for one thing, you know, Mega Man isn't Dr. Wily's son, he wasn't involved in a car accident. And there were inspirations also taken from, you know, many tokusatsu style shows and Super Sentai for a lot of the Robot Master designs, which, you know, you can definitely see in a few of them, particularly with a Lake Man, but it's neither here nor there in this case. Anyway, as to the actual story of Mega Man, yes, in the year 2000 XDX, although this game, I think in the manual said 19XX, because, you know, 1987, they obviously thought robotics would advance by, you know, the late 90s at the very least, so acquiesced. Although, then again, Resident Evil Remake did have that, well, not Resident Evil, it was Resident Evil 3 Remake, actually did have that brief thing of, Dr. Wily and Dr. Light having a conference about robotics, so maybe it did happen around about the time of, Resident Evil 3. Just, once again, proving once and for all that all Capcom franchises are connected. But yeah, anyway, Mega Man was created as a, you know, a robot advancing in robotics, and basically Dr. Wily was a bitch who got a bit jealous and decided to steal all of Dr. Light's robotic models, the Robot Masters. They're to aid in various parts of, you know, daily life, some being involved in construction, and others really just sort of, you know, being there to help humanity, as tools, with a certain degree of sentience. This isn't gonna go wrong whatsoever, but in any case though, yeah, basically when everything went haywire, one of his lab assistants, his robotic assistant, aptly named Rock, decided to volunteer for a project that will turn himself into a super fighting robot, known as the Mega of Man. And there we go, Mega Man. He put on some blue pajamas, decided not to follow the Astro Boy route and running around in his fucking undies, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And our first boss of the now, Bomb Man. Well, so much for Mega Man fighting for everlasting peace. He sucks. But luckily, this is a game where we have lives and, you know, we have a fairly easy boss fight, despite what I've led you to believe with the amount of damage I took. Yeah, Bomb Man is the Robot Master I recommend you going after first, mainly because, well, you can take him down fairly easily with your basic pitch, you know, buster weapon, and in turn, his pattern is also a lot easier to predict. I mean, just avoid the arc of his bombs, and when you get close to him, Bomb Man will attempt to, you know, jump very far out of the way, so, yeah, just, make sure you at least have enough health to act as a little bit of a buffer, and you should be okay. There we go. Whew, thank goodness that bomb faded away, otherwise Mega Man would have been mega screwed, just like in that fabled show, Captain N. The Game Master. Well, that's to be discussed at a later date, assuming I run out of things to say. In any case though, also one of the more innovative things about Megaman, slight non-linear gameplay. You can tackle any of these bosses in any order you wish, and yeah, I am pretty much going after these bosses in weakness order, so yeah, this is pretty much the order you want to play the game if you want to defeat all these bosses with, you know, their relative weaknesses. A lot of people usually tend to say fuck that and sort of go for whatever ones they want. Like, most playthroughs I've seen usually tend to go for Cutman first, but I don't know, personally I prefer Bombman stage first since it's fairly easy to get done. Ordinarily I wouldn't go after GutsMan in this order because some of his stage gimmicks like this can be quite bullshit. Especially with this, and that's particularly to do with this section right here, which I'm surprised I did as well as I did, but yeah, it's more to do with the fact that Megaman's momentum, again, if you jump, he jumps in a regular, you know, circular, well, it's oval arc? Whatever. I'm not really good with my jumpy, arcy, mathy motrons. But anyway, basically, yeah, if you happen to fall down just by letting, you know, momentum do its work, yeah, he'll either fall down in a regular jump arc if you hit the jump button, or he'll pretty much fall down with the grace of a fucking, well, an anvil, really. So, yeah, especially with that platforming segment when you're trying to time your jumps with the, you know, imprecise NES physics, it can be a bit of an exercise in frustration, so, be forewarned. But I mean, in any case though, apart from that few little platforming segments, GutsMan's stage isn't actually too bad, so, yeah. Worst is pretty much over at this stage. And speaking about what Mega Man picked up, like, right at the end of the, you know, Bombman stage, yeah, by defeating the Robot Masters, you actually claim their weapons. So yeah, Mega Man is a bit of a thiefy little bitch. He steals people's weapons, and takes them for himself. He's like Robin Hood if he was an asshole. He takes from the rich, and gives to himself. Much like EA, or many gaming companies out today. And this is an annoying bitch enemy that I call the jump fucker because he just jumps around and if he hits you, well, as you saw right there, he takes off a fuckload of your health. What an ass. Zoop. And now to do something which I'm partially doing to prolong the video, but in turn also something that might be kinda necessary if you want to regain some health. These are little hallway lobbies that have enemies for you to defeat, like, you know, the Metal helmets. Something that will bizarrely survive over the eons in the Mega Man universe, but, yeah, you'll occasionally be getting those little pellet things that are basically points. You'll get weapon energy, which is those little blue capsules that you see, you know, right down there. But on the odd occasion, you get those, little yellow capsules. That basically being your health, which you need to regenerate, so... Yeah, it does pay for you to, you know, rejuvenate your health enough, so, yeah. And of course, as you can see in the menu, you can select different weapons from all the Robot Masters you've acquired them from. And in this case, GutsMan, well, he's a construction robot, and also I think Dr. Wily's favourite, so, yeah. Basically use Bombman's weapon to, take him down. That being said though, GutsMan can be a bit of a pain in the ass, because I mean, not only can he end up throwing, you know, bits of shite at you, but in turn, well, yeah, he has that little stomp move that basically leaves you prone long enough for him to just launch bits of rock at you because, well, I don't know, he's just following his programming. Why do robots have to fight? Are they really evil? Well, no, not really. I mean, they're just bound to their programming. Allegedly. Even though, Rock had the inclinations to put a stop to things. But was he following his programming as a, you know, service robot to help out his creator, and by extension humanity? Or was it something more? Was he more than just a regular robot? Well, the series never really made it quite clear until, well, the X series at the very least, but anyway, this is the otherwise stage that you'd always see at the first part of every Mega Man Let's Play, commentary, whatever's your poison, Cutman stage. Robot Master that, seems to be popular with a lot of people. Couldn't really tell you why. He reappears a lot throughout the series. His theme song also makes a fair few appearances, so really, I don't know. I mean, the stage is fairly cruisy, but, I mean, apart from that, though, it's just kind of there, to be honest. But anyway, like, I mean, I guess if I could talk about the artistry of Mega Man itself, they do put a fair amount of work into well, at least a lot of graphical work into trying to make some of these locations feel like grounded places. Like, I mean, again, you saw the very Astro Boy looking futuristic city where, you know, Bomb-Man was working, so, you know, it's kind of cool to see at least a little slice of what the future would have potentially looked like in 20XDX. I mean, we don't really have cities like looking like that right now, but, you know, the 80s had a very different vision for what the future was going to be like, and it was more optimistic, more cool, more, well, yeah, more optimistic than what we have now, really, so, I don't know what that tells you about the world we live in today, but... In any case, so, again, you saw with GutsMan, you know, they had the very, you know, excavation, style area, and here we have, well, what seems to be like some sort of... I always seem to assume it was like a logging facility, but, I don't know, it's, quite intriguing, really. But yeah, I mean, I will say that in terms of, like, a lot of NES games, in terms of, graphics and artistry, I'd say that Mega Man next to maybe Castlevania had some of the strongest art design that, the console was really capable of, and given the fact that Mega Man was one of the stout, you know, games that really tended to push the NES to its limits, because, I mean, they did stick with the NES for a fairly long time, like, I mean, it was a couple of years into the Super Nintendo's lifespan that, you know, Mega Man 6 was still being made well into 1993, so... I mean, say what you will about Mega Man Classic, but I mean, Capcom did pay for loyalty with their fanbase. Everything is magical again. NES soundtrack. Yeah, I got nothing much to say about Mega Man's soundtrack that at least not a lot of other people have already said. It's fairly decent chiptune stuff, but you know, and not exactly my favorite you know, 8-bit soundtrack, but it is fairly decent for what it's worth. I don't even know why I'm bothering to go out there to get points. They're worth nothing. They achieve nothing. And yeah, that is actually very true. The points don't exactly get you much of anything, really. It's just sort of... Look, you can brag to your friends like, oh my god, I got a super high score in Mega Man. Which clearly fucking shows how popular of an idea that was, because they ended up ditching the point threshold by Mega Man 2, so... Yeah, they don't really do anything, like, you don't get a big enough digit so you can get an extra life or anything, so... There's nothing. There is nothing. Ouchers. Well, we're nearly at the end, and by the way, speaking of weapons, I guess that was meant to be the obvious hint with a bunch of blocks that you saw similar to, you know, GutsMan stage, but yeah, you can actually use weapons all throughout the various stages during the regular gameplay. And in kind of like an NES precursor to Ratchet & Clank, really, yeah, you can actually sort of mix and match and make your own fun, but by nature of the fact that this game has a very sort of unique gameplay system in terms of the bosses, you kind of don't feel the need to use a lot of your weapons. Well, I mean, at the very least for me anyway, I kind of feel that very sort of conservative need to save my ammunition for, you know, when I get to the bosses, even though, again, if you're skilled enough, you usually have more than enough ammunition to really spare throughout whatever you need to do, really. So, yeah. And particularly with Cutman right here, and why I recommend going after Gutsman's weapon to deal with him here, well, again, if you can aim your shots just right, yeah. Cutman is a cut bitch. See, look at that, it takes down half his fucking health. Come on. See, look, I mean, I was at low health myself, but 2 hits, and he's gone. But anyway, on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keeping you metal, and next time on the Mega Man commentary, well, we deal with the other half of the bosses.
We'll be right back.